Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Yes, you're getting another one, a 2 for Wednesday. I just had to. I want to talk about Welcome to Skull Tower, Arduin Grimoire Volume 2. This one is actually in a lot better condition than my Volume 1 for some reason. This one's almost absolutely perfect. The only issue is a little bit of rust on the staples, but other than that, it's like the day it was printed. I like to think that Dave hand stapled this one together just for me, and I want to go in not quite page by page, but this one has got a lot of great stuff in it. Starting with some new information that was redone, like right off the bat on page 2-3 is a true strength function chart that includes things like door opening by hand, ability with crowbar, attack and damage bonuses, grapple chance, carrying capacity, weightlifting, and actually the ability of wall breaking. Once you get to a strength above 18, you start being able to, even before then, you can still, bust your way through a 1/4 inch of wood on up to inches of stone and onto steel. Pretty badass if you think about it. That kind of information, when you get more powerful, definitely you'd like to have some sort of baseline, and Dave thought about that. Now, there's this one page I came across early on. I want to say it's page 4. Yeah, I think it's page 4. And some of you folks out there may take umbrage with this, but this was 1978, and men were men and women were women. And here's just a little more proof. A little table called Female Attribute Chart. Percentile roll will give you the breast measurement, the waist measurement, and the hip measurement, with bonuses to charisma based on those numbers. But this is what really got me giggling just a little. Remember that these rolls can have an effect on the charisma of the lady in question. For instance, if the lady's waist is 34 or so, and she only has a bust of 36, it's obvious that she's fat, reducing her looks. In combat, one tends to find oneself haggling over who can do what. Therefore, this DN insists that all who play in this world read and heed all that is in the Arduin Grimoire. A man after my own heart. Then we have the True Charisma chart, the Morale chart for hirelings, a little more in-depth thought processes on how such things should be handled. Optional character appearance chart, the hair, the eyes, scars, birthmarks, pigmentations, and exotic things such as a cycloptic eye, 6 fingers, double thumb, pointed ears, fanged mouth, all double joints, gills and lungs, webbed toes, etc. 2 hearts, I wonder where you got that idea from. Very hairy, no body hair, no belly button, hermaphrodite, transparent skin, scaly skin, double pupiled, reptile tongue, cat clawed, and 1 to 6 foot inch tail. Then we get into some of the new character classes that were mentioned in the first book, or maybe not. There were some errors and omissions and mistakes throughout the grimoires, I'm not going to lie, but that's one of the charms of this. For a product produced with a typewriter and a Xerox machine, I doubt any of us could do much better. There's the star-powered mage, one of, as you can ask George and Dave, one of my favorite all-time character types. The star-powered mage, with a long history with some of the first wars between the original magic-using beings, the ancients, the reptilians, versus the star-powered mages, who had a crystalline star embedded in their forehead, I believe from birth, that allowed them to draw in starlight as extra mana to power their spells and also help keep them alive through regeneration. A character that I have to say was borrowed in the Thieves' World series of books by Lynn Asprin and friends. Then there was the Rune Singer, a character who could literally sing magic into being, similar to the Rune Weaver, but a little less powerful, but still a fun kind of character. Would make a great bard. I want to say that Roger Zelazny's Changeling was inspired by that, because I believe it came afterwards, but clearly, they're very similar. Then there's a very in-depth section on thief abilities, not just your usual bill of fare of picking locks and opening, disarming traps and things like that. But there's also the steal, the lockpick, the deactivate, the chance to con people, pickpocket, and successfully lie. Then there was the character class, the Saint, that was briefly mentioned in the previous book. The martial artist. This may actually predate the monk from AD&D. I don't remember if it was in any of the white box supplements. Special notes on unarmed combat to continue that out. The outlaw character class, just because why not? And it doesn't always have to be a bandit. There's other ways. You could be a famous bank robber or something like that. The slavers, another controversial character profession that gained XP for doing the most heinous of acts, but we've all had that player, haven't we? The courtesan and all her abilities, the things she could do, the potions she could concoct, love potions and sleep potions, and her ability to manipulate folks. A condensed character limitation chart on their stats, a character resurrection percentile chart based on race and level as opposed to just constitution, non-weapon attack matrices, critical hits for non-weapon claws and fangs and things like that. Then there's a very large section on the Multiversal Trading Company, with a lot more prices and items up for grabs, because this world is connected by various portals to other worlds, and folks are coming and going from all over the place, so why not have a universal trading company? There's also rules in here for taking out loans and mortgages and things like that. The prices of gems and animal body parts, I believe, are in here. As well as things like spider silk and other things that you may find. And magical spider silk is a biggie in Arduin, making magical garments out of such things. More mages spells. I believe in this one, I'm not sure if it's in this one or the other one, but the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak, that might ring a bell to some of you Marvel fans, was in here, as well as a bunch of other just Stafford Starbridge, I'm not sure if it's in this one. Elric's Acid Rain, Merlin's Spell of True Seeing, Draylor's Death Star. I wonder where you got the inspiration for that. 1978, folks. Druidical magic, clerical spells. Only about a page of each of new spells there, but each one of them is a doozy. Then we get into the new magic item, the Amulet of Spell Eating. One of my players recently found one of those. Each day it needs to be fed or tries to feed on 13 spells, And if it gets to 13 spell levels, and should it get even one extra level beyond that, it will disgorge every spell that it's eaten that day, all centered around, you guessed it, the wearer. The Cloak of Cleverness, my friends found that. I believe the Lifesavers are in here. I even have a prop for it, because we were discussing this last Sunday with my group. You pop one of those bad boys in your mouth, and during the combat you pretty much can't die. Unfortunately, if you ever cast any sort of detect magic or identify spell on the candies, they become inert, regular candy. And the thing that my players don't know is that there are other lifesavers out there packaged just the same, but they don't do what you think they do. So biter beware. Then we get to the new monsters. One of my favorite, the Shock Bones, created by the Mad Mage Dirty Harry. They appear to be skeletons, but when your high-level priest tries to turn them, they don't turn, because they are in fact mechanically animated. And should you destroy one, there's one last little dirty trick, more or less a hand grenade built inside, so that when you finally crush the rib cage or what have you, they explode. Yeah. And there's quite a few monsters in this book, actually. Then the rest of the book is made up of notes on magic, the mana system, the combat rules, more advanced combat rules, I should say, weapon classifications, miscellaneous notes that go on for several pages, with all kinds of things that most GMs never think of, which will bring me right into my Friday's episode. Please watch that one, because that will explain everything you ever need to know about Arduin, at least from my perspective, and why I'm such a big fan of it after really close to 50 years. I just did the math. I got my first Arduin book when I was about 12 years old, and I'm now 58, so another 4 years and it'll be 50 years in my hands. Then the rest of the book is taken up by a time capsule history on the world of Arduin, the local inns and roadhouses of Arduin, and then we come to the conclusion of this wonderful, wonderful tome with a final page on space creatures and other aliens in fantasy role-playing games, and why you should take a troll to lunch, and why you should not say no to stormtroopers. But that's what I've got for you this morning. Another absolute gem among gems in the role-playing game library, at least my library. I hope you make it in your library as well. You won't regret it. This wisdom from David A. Hargrave is still valid after almost 50 years. And I'd like to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. As always, I love you guys. I will see you guys real soon. And as always, happy trails.